Hey y'all, Bryce here, Astro Herbalist, and I am here to tell you all about an amazing Capricorn herbal tea that I made for Capricorn season. And not just about this tea, but about one very, very special herb that makes up the bulk of this tea. And that herb is burdock root, Arctium lapa, part of the Asteraceae family. And with that said, if you have any allergies for the Asteraceae family, then you may want to avoid burdock. So burdock root, it grows in the spring. We use the root. The leaves are edible, but for remedial purposes, we really like the root. The root is an oily root, and it is considered an alterative. So that means it helps restore balance, homeostasis back in the body. And herbalist David Hoffman says specifically about burdock, and I quote, that with long-term use will help move the body to a state of integration and health, improving all indications of systemic imbalance. How amazing is that? So burdock root is also a bitter tasting herb. Also has slightly sweet, earthy taste, but that bitter taste is really, really important because we have bitter receptors all throughout our body, even in our lungs. And whenever we taste something bitter, all of essentially the pores in all of our body just open up, and it rushes fluids out to get everything moving. And with that happening, there's a cooling action that's happening all within our body. So if we have any impacted heat, which is that heat that's trapped, and heat gets trapped because sometimes we cool down too fast, and all of the heat that's in there doesn't have a chance to get all the way out, so it gets stuck. And that impacted heat can affect the body in a lot of different ways. It can affect the digestive system, it can cause headaches, and it can cause complicated skin conditions like eczema or psoriasis. And even if we don't have that impacted heat, this is a dry season, and in less modern times, during the winter, we're not eating a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables and things that provide a lot of hydration and fiber to keep things moving, so we can get very dry and sticky on the inside. And when that happens, we might not be absorbing all of the nutrients that we need to absorb, and we might get constipated. And if we're backed up, then those toxins are backing up back into our body, which can also be causing things like headaches, things like poor skin, and just all kinds of other complicated symptoms that we don't want to deal with. So that bitter quality is really, really, really important for just opening everything up, getting those fluids moving, getting that cooling action, moving out that heat that might be stuck in the body. But ultimately, well, my camera stand's falling. Ultimately, right, bitter things are drying because we release all of those fluids, and then once they're gone, they're gone, right? We got to replace that. We got to stay hydrated. But one of the cool things about burdock root, it is a naturally oily root, so that can actually help us retain some of the hydration, help us retain some of that lubrication so that we don't dry out too heavily from that bitter action. Isn't that pretty cool? Matthew Wood says that some of the indications, herbalist Matthew Wood, says that some of the indications, and this is out of his book Earthwise Herbal, volume 1, I believe, some of the indications would be constipation, lack of lubrication in the GI tract, frontal headaches, which could be a symptom of impacted heat, poor nutrition, poor digestion, plenty of things, as well as complicated skin conditions like eczema and psoriasis, or just flaky, red, hot skin. Burdock is also abundant in vitamin B1, which helps to maintain nerves and memory function, and it's also loaded with polyphenols and flavonoids, right? Antioxidant activity, which helps preserve the body as a whole, anti-aging, good stuff. As well as stilbenes and lignans that help to fight inflammation. Now, some of the contraindications, some of the do not use burdock for these reasons. Obviously, if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you definitely want to consult with your physician if you're considering using burdock. If you have issues with low blood sugar, burdock is a good source of inulin, and inulin is a source of soluble fiber, and that can result in lowering blood sugar even more. Another thing is blood thinners. All right, so that's a bit about burdock. If you have any questions, please do ask. I love answering your questions, and I want to know what you want to know. So yeah, and then also please do be sure to click the link in my bio and come over and check out my Capricorn season herbal tea. And it doesn't have to be Capricorn season, or you don't have to be a Capricorn. But if you like the taste of sweet, earthy, slightly bitter, delicious, regulating goodness, then you're gonna love it. So link in the bio. Don't forget. Hey, have a good one. See you later.